Hi Capricorn, here is a general look at your solar chart for August 2016, and you may find yourself listening to your gut instinct a little bit more this month, listening to your intuition, or maybe others' gut instinct and intuition. Saturn, your ruling planet, I mentioned the Saturn-Neptune transit last month, still going on, and will be going on until early October. So the position of Saturn is in the sign before yours, and that means it's preparation time for you, but also time to draw a line under certain elements of the past and past behaviors even, but also maybe healing the wounds of the past or dealing with the consequences of what actions were taken in the past, either from you or to you. And things going on behind the scenes anyway, and during this transit you could be called upon to be the supporter, be the facilitator more, and maybe quite a lot going on inside of you at times, maybe you wanting to collect together your thoughts or memories, souvenirs, memoirs, whatever, archiving, anything like that could be going on now for some of you Capricorns. Now that would be affecting mostly at the moment those of you born the 30th of December to the 1st of January, with 9 to 11 degrees rising. So either side of those dates and those degrees still quite in the zone, but then the further out you go, the lessening of the strength of the energy. That is provided that you do not have a sensitive point or a planet in those areas. But just on talking about the sun, then that would be the dates there. Now, the current Saturn-Neptune transit does actually deny us clarity in lots and lots of ways. It was going on over June. This is July. Now it will be still going on over August and September. And during the long transit of Neptune through your third house, you could actually become more sensitive to the signs and omens and the portents. Things which eluded you previously, little nuances and hidden meanings. Also the artistic side, having more of an appreciation of color or shape or shape, form, that kind of thing. Good to be doing art actually with Neptune there, or any other kind of art like poetry or music or any dancing, any kind of that kind of artistic, loosely termed artistic activity, and that would be very, very good for you. But this is also a time when you or others can more easily get the wrong end of the stick. That you or others can easily, more easily at times during the transit, this very long transit, imagine things which aren't true, or get led up the garden path, or be deluded, or whatever. And so you will have to keep tabs on that. Also, you might feel that your day isn't structured enough as well. You might feel that it's kind of a bit open-ended, but it's a great time for the arts, and also for working in a voluntary sort of way. Charitable work, working for a common good, which isn't necessarily going to mean that you are going to rocket up the ladder of success, but just because it needs somebody there and you're available. So it's a great time for that. It's also a great time for you to let rip with your imagination, learn or teach art and healing. Actually, Neptune's in a really good angle to your sun sign. So art or healing, and keep a flexible and open mind. And if you do see or dream, sometimes maybe you should take seriously what your daydreaming or your nighttime dreams are. Make a note of them, and this is the thing about Neptune. It is not very strong on method or routine or timekeeping. It's rubbish at that actually, but Saturn loves it. So with these two coming together, a close by degree, you should, this is your chance to tailor what you are learning and to convey to others in a structured, realistic manner, if that's what you want to do. Or maybe you can just apply apply what your gut is telling you in a structured, shaped sort of way, and dodging those who are economical with the truth, or haven't really got a plan, or haven't got the evidence to back up their flamboyant claims on things. So yeah, and those who think they're absolutely 100% right about something as well, particularly in mainstream positions like in healthcare, for instance, but also in all sorts of other areas as well. This sort of complacency sets in. So and then that's the death knell for it, really, because change has got to come. So whatever this is sort of making sense to you, because I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm just looking at the astrology. Anyway, so just take whatever you need from that. And now Mars is moving into the sign before yours, Sagittarius, from the 3rd into this area. So the whole area is being stirred up and speeded up, suggesting things are going to be much busier behind the scenes, or to do with supportive work, to do with maybe being there as the enabler to another, or indeed somebody being there as an enabler to you. So this is a great time for healing, for getting treatments, for doing practices which are maybe healing, nurturing, looking at diet. Maybe it's not like that. Maybe it's different. Maybe it's to do with spirituality. Maybe it's to do with using your imagination. Maybe it's simply to do with you being on hand and available because this is a time of need for somebody else. But it can also be reversed as well. You won't feel so much like coming out of your shell, actually, with Mars there. However, we've got the Sun and Venus and Mercury in more outgoing areas. Well, we've got actually most of the month the Sun is actually in quite a quiet, secretive, tuck myself away, have a sort of ruminate, have a contemplate about things area. But both Mercury and Venus are not. So I would say the bias is probably more that you want to sort of tuck yourself away somewhere. Maybe not physically, but at least in yourself, because you're inward looking. You'll be more inward looking and feeling your emotions more. But to get back to Mars, this is a time for nurture and support, either from you to another or from another to you. And you will be in a more self-reflective mood at this time, I would say. And looking at your own behaviors and looking at the past, maybe looking at the past more. But this is a time to work from those inner planes outwards. So working with the law of attraction, working with manifestation, and also maybe even for some of you, looking into doing counseling or any kind of sort of psychotherapeutic type, whether it's self-therapy or with another, because you can find some nice little nuggets at this time here. The truth has sort of got a sort of a bitter taste to it. But actually, if we eat bitter stuff, apparently our body really likes it. I can't remember quite why at the moment, but like a lemon or something else. Our body needs it. It triggers certain things going off in our brains. So and sometimes an unpleasant truth about ourselves, it can feel like that, a bitter pill. But it's good for us. It's good for us. As long as you're not really being critical and putting yourself down, or letting others put you down either. Just looking at my clock there. So because your energies are turned inwards, you're more easily influenced. That's the thing, your sort of your shields come down a bit. So just be aware of that and get them back up and out and push out. And then Mars will also underpin practices like intuitive imagination, or just using your imagination, using your intuition. going to somebody who's very intuitive and listening to what they have to say. Anything as well that can take you out of yourself, take you just out of your own ego self, that would be good, because this is not an ego-orientated dynamic going on here. Right, okay. So hopefully you can make sense of that. Now, we have the sun in quite a deep part of the chart as well. So yeah, quite a number of things here. This is what I call the gear shifting house. So this is a transitional phase of the sun, taking you from one stretch of road or understandings or standpoint or perspective to another. And you move forwards intuitively. You hold your little lantern of intuition up before you and you take your steps forward. And you will be feeling things. You will be feeling more sensitive at this time. The sorts of manifestations could be around jointly held or shared interests or objects or possessions or property or finances, either with somebody that you know personally or just some outside agency. And your value structure and instinct will come to the fore with the sun here. Mercury is expanding your mind though, so very much your mind will be learning new things and entertaining options outside of the box. So it's not all very inward looking. Actually, Mercury is in a very outgoing place, and this is good. And also Jupiter is in a very outgoing sort of in a very outgoing mood. So Mars and Jupiter want adventure. And thinking bigger, being more aware of fresh potential or a distant horizon, and you enjoying the communicative side of things, you know, connecting maybe with somebody from a distance. Travel comes in here strongly, and just appreciating somebody's fresh sort of slant on things, or indeed doing some training and going and signing up and enrolling for something and learning something new. But you could be the teacher as well. So you could be putting the word out. You could be the guide or the guided, the informed or the informer. Now, Venus is in a place of emotional depth, and some things can touch your feelings very deeply. This is up until the 6th of August. So if you're listening to this in July, this is where Venus is now, in this very romantic, very sensitive sort of area. You could meet somebody special, some of you. Formally or informally, things could become more intimate or just sort of more involved. You feel more closely involved. And you... it's a good time to acquire and use resources that benefit joint interests, excuse me, joint material interests with others, but also not just material, also emotional. So it's like sharing the load with somebody emotionally, or somebody sharing that load with you, hence the suggestion of the counseling. But it might be you, the counselor, you know, it might be either way around. Excuse me. And then Venus moves on the 6th, and then there's this real feeling of support coming from further away, somebody with an expertise maybe, or from a different cultural background. Travel with a partner is possible, or someone expands your thinking with their experience or background. So you could be consulting with someone. Sorry, I got a real tickle in my throat here. You yourself could be valued and admired also for your knowledge. So a real sort of sense of warmth and support coming from somebody who is outside of your usual orbit, or somebody literally physically further away. And you can be on quite a learning curve there, either with them, and it can be to do with travel as well, and enjoying that travel with somebody, a good companion. Or just, you know, through your contribution or support, or their contribution or support, and getting a better understanding of things and helping to join up the dots, and maybe even hatching a plan together. That's another thing that could be happening with Venus here, and launching into something with someone else, or with the input from someone else. Now, new potentials are very much in the wind, particularly from the 23rd onwards, because that's when we have the sun going into this same area that I've just been talking about, expansive area, adventurous area, outgoing area, raising the spirits. Still, we do have Mars, Saturn, And we do have Mars and Saturn still in this rather inward-looking area. But then once we get the Sun moving out, and Venus as well, we get more of this balance perspective coming in, and not so maybe emotionally driven. Okay, now Jupiter will be working happily out of its own house in your solar chart for a little bit longer in a very good angle to your sun side. That's up until the 9th of September. So you've got a little way for this one to go, really pushing the envelope of your life, broadening your mental territory, broadening your physical territory, teaching you new things. And growth can also come through foreign connections, foreign cultures, just other cultures, but also ideals as well, or a change maybe in your principles happening with Jupiter here, and your outlook as well. Now, I just want to mention a couple of things. Mars and the Sun and Saturn all collide by degree, not literally in the skies, but if that were going to happen, I wouldn't bother to do this forecast, but because I think that would be outside of the sphere of this type of astrology anyway, what was going to happen next. However, I digress once again, sorry about that. So Mars, Saturn and the Sun are all coming across each other by degree, and that's happening the 21st to the 26th. So if at all possible, given that that might be a slightly rougher bit of road there, maybe more on your shoulders perhaps, or more pressures, I don't quite know. Yeah, so that's for you to know, that's for your information. And then we have Mercury going across Saturn on the 5th and the 6th. That could put a lot on your mind, and you could be kind of a bit downbeat there, fleeting though it is. And then we have Venus on the 12th and the 13th, and that means that you may feel rebuffed by somebody, or you may feel that somebody is being too sort of stiff and formal with you, or you may not feel like that at all. You may feel like you want to be stiff and formal with somebody because that keeps them at arm's length. But is this sort of feeling of being at arm's length there, and for whatever the reasons. Okay, so that's for your information. But just to get back to Jupiter in this stunningly good angle to your sun sign, so growth coming from tending to be from a distance, but also through education, and giving education or receiving education, as the advisor, the consultant, the guide. This is a great vibration for broadcasting onto a larger, wider stage as well. If you want to sort of step up to the plate and stick yourself in front of a camera and a microphone, and getting involved perhaps in publishing or the legal side of things as well. This has been a long transit, went in there last August, so it's got until the early bit of September to run. And it's an expansive phase, I would say, in the boundaries of your known world. It will stretch into new fields of endeavor. You Capricorns born the 11th to the 19th of January, or with 21 to 29 degrees rise, you're going to feel that energy the most this month. But remember, as I say, you know, it goes across the whole sign more strongly the closer into those degrees you are. And then in conclusion, Uranus, just looking at my clock again here, yeah, babbling away, here I am. Doesn't time fly when you're having fun? It makes you wonder about the nature of time, though, doesn't it, in that case? Because it's kind of elastic, isn't it? So I haven't got enough time to burble on much longer. So Uranus, of course, is still around for you Capricorns in a very strong way. And that means that it's at the root of your chart, so that might make you feel as a bit nervy and jittery sometimes about the home base or the neighborhood, or indeed it might, or indeed about the past and about family members as well. But it might also mean that you get a kind of intermittent connection with your deep past, your deep history. And that might not be on the bloodline, that might be on the soul level. And then Pluto is in your sign, and boy oh boy isn't Pluto in Capricorn having a field day now. That's you Capricorns born the 3rd to the 8th of January of 14 to 17 degrees rising, and for Uranus 12th to the 15th of January of 23 to 25, and that's it. If you know your rising sign or your moon sign, listen to those, and this material is written up on DianaGarland.com, and I'll see you the next time.